This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody. They made me laugh already.
What?
They're like, point to the camera. Doing some training in here. Doing some training. All right, let's get to the stories. Madonna is speaking out about those plastic surgery rumors. So after her Grammys appearance earlier this month, many people speculated, Madonna looks different. So yesterday she posted this pic on Twitter with the caption, "Look how cute I am now that the swelling from surgery has gone down, LOL," with a laughing, crying emoji. But some media outlets took Madonna's face at face value, get it, face value, and posted headlines claiming that she finally admitted to having plastic surgery.
Admitted? Wait, what?
Do you think she did or she?
Yes!
I mean, do we think, is the Pope a Catholic? Have you seen Madonna's face?
I didn't know this was up for debate.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
She looks a mess. Let's just call it as it is. I
after
love
it.
Madonna. She's fantastic. She is an icon. She can do whatever she wants. But if she genuinely thinks that people are not going to discuss this when she looks like that, she's lost the plot.
I kind of agree, and I said this last time when she was like, it's misogyny and sexism. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You are an
It's-
icon, and you look drastically different. People in pop culture are going to speak about
but
you.
it's
If a
not
man
like-
did that, it would be the same
It's
thing.
not just looking drastically different. It's not just like a little tweak of Botox. It's not possibly a nose job. She looks like that Catwoman.
The famous one, yeah.
But I will say this, I do love that she went towards humor. That's the funniest part. All you have to do if someone's making
I
fun
don't know
of
if she went towards humor. She called people misogynists.
No, this time when she said, my swelling's gone down, like she's trying to make it funnier, and that's the better route to take, don't you think?
I think it was just a way, it was like kind of a back road into saying, hey, I look better now, look at me now, don't look at me then. Because honestly, if you were going to choose humor, you can just come out and just, especially, this sounds bad, but I'm closer to her age than being young. When you get to a certain age, you can kind of joke around about, Betty White never had anything done, I don't think. But if she was like, hey guys, I'm 99, I'm going to get it, everybody be like, great. But when you just go, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Right.
And it's like,
Well,
we
she
have
said
eyes.
that over and over again. That's the thing, isn't it? And it's very, very apparent. I mean, there's no hiding it.
We had a doctor on a different show, right? Dr. Yoon, he's kind of our house doctor. We have him on all the time. And let's take a little clip about what he said. This was a week ago, what he said.
I wonder if it's not that she had so much filler, but maybe she had a little bit of filler, maybe some laser treatments, and then ended up swelling and then had to go on the Grammys because she does have her tour coming up.
Interesting.
I don't think that this is how she's going to look for a long time. My guess she'll come back in a couple weeks and you'll see she looks back like we normally see her.
Okay, I am not shy. I have had copious amounts of Botox, filler, and all the lasers. I relish in it. Give me it all. And I don't think I look like a cat. Well, I hope not anyway. Meow, you look fantastic.
Listen, does age factor into
Yes.
any of this?
Yes.
I think obviously she's doing things because, unfortunately, we live in a very ageist society, and not only that, she's a woman, and she's in the spotlight, and she's one of the biggest performers of our lives that people look to be controversial and different. So I think she's obviously amping up and playing to that a little bit too. But that's not just a bit of a laser. That's so kind and generous.
Yeah,
Like,
and also
no.
she's not alone. Like everybody, you ever watch these sports talk shows and like guys that were, played and now they've been retired 20 years. Everybody has jet black hair. Everybody still, it's like almost every celebrity that we know has just kind of stopped aging. You look at Ben Stiller in these commercials.
That's why you love
Steve
him.
Martin still looks great. Everybody kind of like stopped aging. So I don't think she stands out that much in that. I think most people assume that most people, even if you're a professional athlete, has had something, your hairline, something done.
Look at Tom Brady's before and after. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't even follow Tom Brady, and I've seen those face jobs at that work, and it is rather spectacular. There's a reason he got Giselle other than throwing a ball and earning a bit of money.
I love it.
Wow. All right.
Dang, I
Former
like
Real
it.
Housewife of Atlanta star Kim Zolciak's home is up for auction. Kim and her husband, Croy, have repeatedly defaulted on their $1.65 million loan they took out in 2016. Croy?
Yes.
He's a football player.
I know, Croy? All right, I don't know.
Sounds like a fish.
Wow, big house,
Sequoia.
fancy.
Okay, the 7-bedroom Georgia mansion was shown on Kim's other reality show, Don't Be Tardy, and last year Kim denied reports that her home was being sold for $275,000. That's it. But the home is now hitting the auction block next month, so something is happening.
And in 2000, I believe, Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, 2021, it was almost foreclosed before, and they finally paid off the debt. So this is a pattern.
But it's weird. She's a housewife of Atlanta.
She was.
She had her own show. He was a ball player.
Right, and now
1.6 doesn't seem
out of what if their
crazy.
Their spending habits might be out of control.
And that's what I want to get to. Do you think keeping up with the Joneses, do any of you have this problem? Not to this extent, but just kind of in your own lives?
No, I don't. Tori, do you?
I do.
I feel like all my friends were rich way before I had anything, so I was like, "Yeah, good for you, bro." I never thought.
I guess I think of it like in the Instagram world with followers. I definitely have fallen into, I've got to get this amount, then I've got to get this amount, then I've got to get this amount.
But what would you say you got to get? Give us an example.
That's the problem. So for instance, and you know me, I hired a social media manager to get from like 16.9 thousand to like 17. And once I hit 17, I'm like, now I need 18. And now I know, it's really boring. He's falling asleep. But it's almost, I finally ended that and just stopped and was like, what does it do for you? You don't gain anything. You don't get any money.
But we're talking about like buying homes. Like, do you feel
like your car?
I don't care about that.
I've definitely done things
the clothes
in
you
the
wear.
past where, like, so prime example, my sister wanted to go on her bachelorette party on this like wild American like adventure, and it was before obviously I was like living here, and she wanted to go to LA, and then she wanted to go to Vegas, and then like it was insane. It was like a 2-week bachelorette party. It was honestly nuts. There was no way on this earth could I afford it, and I said that to my sister at the time. I was like, Natalie, I was like, Nat, like, I can't do this. And she was like, you're older than me, you should have had your life together by now, like, get it together, like, you, and like, my mum had to pay for my side of the thing, because I couldn't afford to do it. And then obviously I had to pay my mum back, like, whenever it was. But, you know, like, you guys will know, like, when you are in, especially our industry, any industry, but particularly television, there's highs, there's lows. I was between shows, and I was, like, meant to be going to film some, like, little travel show somewhere in Greece, it was. And I was like, that's my month's salary, and I'm gonna, like, lose it, but it's my sister, and then I'm going to be in debt on top of it, and it was like a nightmare. But the pressure, I felt like I had to.
I think you hit it on the head, Steph, and I think with television, you're either on a show or you're in between shows, and sometimes you're in between shows is like, I booked this, and then 2 weeks later I booked this out, and then sometimes it's 2.5 years later.
I was going to say 2 weeks.
7.5 years later.
It's a long
but
time.
people know you from that one show, so they just think the money is just forever. But
And I think as well, these guys, obviously he's some famous sports star. She's been on television. People automatically have this perception of they must be earning a wild amount, which isn't necessarily true, you know, because a lot of the shows, especially reality shows, you get paid bare minimum to be a cast member because you're hoping that your following goes up, Tori, or that like you get brand endorsements and deals, and you know that money doesn't last forever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I wonder how much of it was the money that they were getting, or how much did they spend to keep up with the Joneses?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Exactly.
That was my question. So let's get this last one. And Emma Thompson is pouring a big pot of cold water.
A big pot.
And then she's going to do the boogaloo on the notion of romantic love, and maybe the Charleston. Emma, who has been married to her second husband for 20 years, told the Radio Times romantic love is a myth that can be dangerous, and take the idea of romance with a pinch of salt. She said long-term relationships are difficult and complicated, and that happily ever after has no place in our lives.
Okay, I have to take offense to this, and I get where she's coming from. Don't go after romantic love as the only part of it. But if you think of a pie, everyone loves pie. What's your favorite pie?
Apple.
Okay, picture an apple pie. Part of what I've learned after 10 years of marriage is like 80% of it is a lot more work than I thought.
Wait, no, blueberry.
Blueberry? Okay, you're kind of ruining this whole thing.
Now I'm thinking of Stand By Me.
Oh boy. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that romantic love is so, to me, vastly important. Sex and romantic love have to be a huge part of that pie. It has to be.
I think that's why people constantly have
Divorce.
terrible relationships.
I agree with you.
Or they get different pies.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing. I mean, that's not for me, but some people choose that, but like they're kind of shamed for doing that. I don't know, Steph, and I want to get your opinion about like it being a bad thing, but I think people should understand that the movies we see, that's just that night, the big wedding. We never see 2-3 months after. So I think it's hard to convey that in a movie, but I think people really believe that.
Absolutely, and obviously as like little girls, we're growing up with all the Disney and these fabulous shows where the girls are swept off their feet and Prince Charming's going to come and take care of everything forever, and it's like, oh no, my sister's got a bachelorette to Vegas that I can't pay for. Who help me?
Here comes mom.
But
That should
no,
be a
it's
good Disney
true.
movie.
I do think there's so many more slices, like Troy said, of a pie. And as you get older, I do think like what you're looking for changes so much. So maybe initially it's like on initial attraction, and then like maybe you're dating someone really hot, and then like a year down the line you're like, what am I thinking? Because I don't have the other slices of the pie that I need. So maybe you
But what
change.
if you've already married them?
But you can also give, like I gave flowers to Brooks because I wanted to be, it doesn't have to always come from the dude. Romance should be part of there as like a marination of a sea salt on top of a caramel cookie.
But you know, I think everyone
I'm
has love
starving.
languages, clearly. Now, everyone has different love languages, right?
Yeah.
And there's obviously physical touch, there's quality time, there's gifts,
right.
you know, so on and so on. And everyone's way of showing love is so different. So maybe for her, she just feels like, as you like, romance is so important. For her, maybe not so
Sounded
much.
like she had a little bite of a bitter pie.
That's-
Maybe she'll
yes.
find a new pie. Sticking with the theme. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Grammy-winning singer Jason Mraz. He's telling us all about his new album. And could the Netflix show Bridgerton be the answer to your dog's stress? We're going to have a conversation about that. Yeah, this is television.
Our viewers are talking about DBL.
Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless. I'm like blushing.
Thank you, thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
Are you a fan of Revenge of the Nerds too? We were just talking about it all.
Can I be honest? There's like very strong, iconic movies I've never seen. One of them being Goonies, and
haven't
one of
seen
them
Goonies
being
either.
Revenge of the Nerds. Have you seen it?
I do. I know.
Is it-
Part one was problematic.
Oh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
racially complicated
Well,
situations
it's just
in
there's
there.
also a weird scene at the end, but the second one is kind of
You've seen
silly. Oh yeah.
So really?
No, Revenge of the Nerds 2 is like that movie Major Pain. There's a weird cult following.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes, I know people that have seen like Major Pain hundreds of times.
That's really funny. Like people get really into it.
It's I wonder what other movies that have like.
Lebowski, for instance.
Yeah, that's almost
Lebowski
like a-
tanked at the theaters and had that cult following.
Yeah, Office Space.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah.
Tanked.
They also, I don't know if you guys know, on Stars, it's coming back now, like 11 years later. You would love it. It's called Party Down.
Oh, it's coming back?
It's coming back because it had abysmal ratings, like 0.0, and people were like, "This is horrible." It's about a catering service, mockumentary style, but
It's like The Office for
yes,
caterers.
for caterers, and they're out of work actors. But it was Megan Mullally, it was the guy from Severance, what's that guy's name? Adam Scott.
Right.
All these great characters, and they're all coming back because it became such a cult following. So even like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That was I feel like that was the. That had the cult following in the real time, not like it didn't have to get popular.
Do you think, was it
after.
popular?
It was. My mom used to take me to Rocky Horror
No.
like in the 80s. Yes.
No way.
Yeah, not to the thing, but she would take me down in that area of town.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, not to see it, but just that area.
Well, no, my mom was super progressive, so she would take us just like to multicultural areas. So, like,
wow.
my friends would be like, somebody's gay, and I'd be like, all right.
Of course, I know,
Like,
right?
I grew up.
Sugar, flour.
Welcome back. Is your dog stressed out? Yeah, I just
How
said
would that be possible?
Maybe they should just Netflix and chill. That's not what that means
No,
either, by the way.
not at all.
There's new research that shows dogs who watch the hit Netflix show Bridgerton spend more time resting than dogs who didn't watch the show. Maybe because it stinks and they fell asleep. For every hour spent watching Bridgerton, dogs spent an average of 37 minutes sleeping or lying around instead of playing. Smooth jazz can also soothe a stressed pup.
We have to get a stock photo for that.
Oh my God, you get 40 more minutes, these dogs. I don't know if you listen to some Kenny G. This is ridiculous. Who funds these studies?
It is interesting, though. I will tell you this. I listen to DJ Doggy, and it is
No,
for
you
anyone.
do
No, let me
not.
say
No.
this. Let me say it. It's classical music, and then a heartbeat at the mother a dog's mother's heartbeat timing in the background. So you hear a little quiet boom, and then it's classical music. It puts them out like they just smoked
You
a
almost
joint.
put Steph out. I was looking at
I'm
her.
like, this is real.
When was the last time you went to dinner with a group of friends?
Oh my God! When's the last time you invited me, you guys? No, I'm just kidding. But it really can. If you have a hyperactive dog or a separation anxiety dog
Yeah,
that rips
that's real.
apart your stuff when you leave, if you put on classical music.
Oh, you for the dog, not
Yes.
yourself.
No.
I thought you did it for you.
No, for DJ Joggy. So when I left, Josie would get to hear that heartbeat with classical music, and no one's ripping up shoes or purses or anything. So it's actually really helpful.
Separation anxiety is real.
Yeah, they'll rip up the couch, the sofa when you're gone because they're angry that you're gone and they're nervous.
stress
This
and
takes it
scared.
down to a whole other level.
How did dogs from the 40s and 50s and 60s make it without DJ Doggy?
They ripped up a lot of stuff.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Why
I think this
why
is all a
Bridgerton
scam.
though? Does it have to do with
Because it's
The music.
designed to, it's like a stun gun for boring.
No, it's not.
Yes, and it hits
It's very
every organism.
romantic.
Anything you hit with the Bridgerton gun, it's over with.
No, you just
You're
are not
asleep.
into that. It's a
I think in the
beautifully
background,
romantic.
it's like, it has got a bit more classical of a music vibe, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just, I think that the tone and the music soothes the animal.
All jokes aside, do you guys think this is a huge scam? This whole dog, like I think the people I know as a collective spend more money on their dogs than anything else on the planet.
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
about
think
car
animals
payments,
are the new
children.
babies.
Yeah, I don't.
Like a lot of
Yes.
people are choosing not to have
Except
children
the
or
vets
have
don't
children
take
later
health
in
insurance.
life, and then the pets become their baby.
Well,
you know?
I will say too, some parents, and you might not know that, dogs are really bad at home, and they need something to help other than like a Prozac, which people are even giving their dogs. So if you have a really anxious dog, I'm not kidding, certain musics can calm the dog down. Like people
Listen, if you have a wild dog, if you make it watch Bridgerton, you both should go see a therapist.
Absolutely.
Okay, your dog and
You're
yourself.
wrong.
Package
If
deal.
they rip up the sofa and you have them listen to music, you'll see a difference.
I mean, don't forget, a dog food commercial was probably the hit of the Super Bowl with the farmer's dog or whatever. It just shows you got enough money to advertise during the Super Bowl. They're selling your
People
dog's
spend
vegetables that
serious
are
money on their
mashed up
pets.
Yes, because
for
they're like
hundreds of
family.
dollars.
Some of us don't
I need
want
to
kids.
invest.
Coming up on DBL, more dog talk.
Crazy.
No, we talk with Jason Mraz all about his new music. That's next.
Viewer C. Sigmund emailed us saying, "We are hearing that if you've taken the COVID-19 vaccine, you could possibly have heart problems within 3 years." So let's take a look at the facts. For answers, we went to cardiologist Dr. Pyle Coley, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and the American Heart Association. After getting the COVID vaccine, it is possible to get myocarditis, which is a heart condition that inflames the heart muscle. However, Dr. Coley says it usually develops right after getting the vaccine.
That really occurs in the acute period, in the first few weeks, perhaps a couple of months after you get that vaccination.
It's also pretty rare. In a study by American Heart Association, researchers looked at medical records of people hospitalized for myocarditis within 21 days of receiving the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. They found out of the 7.3 million people receiving the first, second, and third shot, only 41 people were hospitalized for myocarditis. As far as this happening years down the road, we'll have to wait and see since the vaccine is still relatively new. However, Dr. Coley says that's unlikely.
It is incredibly rare to get something called autoantibodies, which means that the immune system gets triggered in such a way that it makes antibodies to your own body's cells, which then manifest many years later.
The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia looked at several different types of vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. They found severe effects following a vaccine can occur, but they tend to happen within 2 months of vaccination, not years later. The FDA required companies making COVID-19 vaccines to follow trial participants for a minimum of 2 months before they could submit data for approval. Participants in the trial continue to be followed even though vaccines have been approved for use. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
It's automatic. I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing. Even if it's raining, I'm not complaining. I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing.
Welcome back. That was new music from one of my favorites, Jason Mraz, the Grammy Award-winning artist, joined us earlier and shared what makes him feel like dancing.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Jason, you sound amazing. You look amazing. Welcome back to DBL.
Shoulder action on 10.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. How did you come up with the title of your new album, Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride?
Yes.
Well said, Jeff. Mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride. Well, I'm always down to get a little silly with the lyrical ridiculousness. But mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride is a lyric from the song, and to me, it really sums up life. This mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride that we're on planet Earth in a human body in this experience. Yeah, it's about life.
Many artists have recently released dance music. Beyonce dedicated her latest album to the queer community. How did your mom inspire you to make dance music?
Well, my mom was always driving me to dance class when I was a kid, and definitely encouraged me to go into the arts. And actually, just recently, she was telling me to make a pop album before it's too late, citing that I was getting older. And then so we went into the studio for Mama June to make a pop album, and sadly on the last day of recording, my mom lost her husband, and about 2 weeks after that she was diagnosed with cancer. So we've been on a journey ever since about 2 weeks into recording this album, we've been on a journey in our family. But I tell you, that's been a real motivator to create happy, positive, healing music that gets my mom up and dancing and back on her feet.
It's almost like a certain type of medicine you made beforehand. That's amazing. You opened up, Jason, about struggling with your identity and your self-worth, and I definitely have done that, and I'm in my 40s, earlier in your 40s. What was going on in your life at that time?
You know, I guess I'm a late bloomer, or very lucky that I get to have many, many experiences in life. And I think having come from a small town, I would dare even say a locker room of homophobes. It's hard to really blossom as a young man in that situation.
Jason, obviously we're feeling good, and I've always wanted to ask this to an artist. Do you set out to make music to make people feel good, or is it just like when you go into the studio, this is just what comes out? I'm super curious.
Well, by the time I get into the studio, I'm really only taking a handful of songs that make me feel good, because I will write sad songs, sing till I'm crying, and do what I need to do for my life in that regard. But that's not the feeling I want to take to the stage. It's not the feeling I want to take into the studio. I want to take something where the transformation has occurred, and we're back, and we're happy, and we're feeling good. So rarely, if ever, will I release, a sad song or a sad album or a moment of where I'm not grateful. So because you bring gratitude into the studio, you can't help but have a good time, because what an enormous privilege it is.
Beautifully stated. Jason, if you're ever at Red Rocks, please come visit us. We're here in Denver. We adore you, and we will be thinking of your mom. She is in our prayers. DBL Nation, Jason's new album, Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride, will be released June 23rd. Also visit jasonmraz.com for his summer tour dates. Jason, we appreciate you.
Shout out Mama June.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back. Thanks, you, Jason.
Brother. Appreciate you.
Important calls dropped, texts that won't send, posts that won't load. It can be frustrating, and it can even happen in big cities when the bars can't keep up. If you have an iPhone, you might have seen a little status icon in the corner of your screen that says SOS or SOS only when you don't have any service. Some Androids have similar features. So a lot of folks are asking, what does that mean? We went to Apple, the FCC, and the National 911 program to verify. When an iPhone loses connectivity, it will often switch to SOS only mode. This means the phone can only make calls to 911 or other emergency services. A limitation for sure, but better than nothing in an emergency. And it's not unique to these smartphones with SOS. According to FCC E911 rules, wireless carriers in the U.S. are required to connect any and all 911 calls, even if the caller isn't subscribed to their service. That means as long as your area has some wireless coverage, you should be able to call 911 from a phone with no plan and still reach an operator. But what about when you're totally off the grid? If you have the newest iPhone, that SOS mode might have you covered. According to Apple, iPhone 14s are satellite enabled, allowing users to send text to emergency services even from off the cellular grid. Not as helpful as a call, but the service made headlines back in December when it apparently helped save a stranded man in Alaska. It could also be useful if you're traveling without a SIM card. Apple says the feature is available in the US, Canada, and Australia. So we can verify SOS mode simply means your phone can contact 911 even if you're in a spotty service area. Now, if you're having regular issues, check your provider's coverage map to see how their service works where you spend your time. With your Verify, I'm Delia Gonsalves.
Our sources are AAA, Rochester Mazda, Staple Vehicle Contracts, Progressive Insurance, 1A Auto Repair Company, Batteries Plus, Anco Wipers, and State Farm Insurance. The first don't use hot water or homemade solutions like water and ammonia. They can crack the windshield. Instead, use de-icing spray or liquid ice melt. Don't use the wrong tools. Sharp objects can scratch glass and damage paint. And avoid brooms. The bristles can also damage the paint. Do use tools meant for snow removal, like brushes, ice scrapers, or foam brooms. And leaf blowers from a distance can help as well. To keep your windshield wipers working year-round, don't use them to clear snow or ice. It can cause tears in the blades. Instead, clear the snow from your windshield with the tools we just told you about. And defrost the windshield to melt the ice and unfreeze your wipers.
Today's Sandals word of the day is snorkel. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica. The winner will be announced on DBL March 1st.
Welcome back to DBL. If your joints hurt more when it's cold outside, guess what? You're not alone. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. Some say change in air pressure can cause the pain, but there are some things you can do to lessen it. First, stay active is key. Staying active is key. Next, bundle up. Lastly, maintain a healthy weight and take time to rest. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-813-6801 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. Were you guys listening to me when I was reading that?
Yes, we were.
Yes.
Stealing my pens and throwing them on the ground.
I'm trying to read this. They're acting like children over here.
I can't defend that.
Me neither. Because I do it too.
He goes like this. Come here, give me. And then he just goes.
I just heard a pen drop next to me. It's Al stealing Tori's pen. We'll see you tomorrow.